Across to CK and find out why is it that Bata seems to be the chosen one. CK, what are your findings on Bata?
Good morning again, and welcome back to Chart Check, where we look at confluence of fundamental and technical factors, and that's what I'm finding in the case of Bata. Now, Bata is a well-known household name across India, so it's one of the best brands that we can think of. And what we are finding on the chart of Bata, if you look at it, it's coming out of an 8-month consolidation and staging a breakout to new highs. Now, this is very interesting in the context of what Bata has done. If you take a 10-year return of Bata, you will find that it's gone up 10x, about 1,000%. But if you were to drop that window down to something like 5 years, you will find that the return drops to 100%. And if you take the last couple of years, let's say the last 2 years or so, the return is actually 50–60%. So what this really implies is that while in the long term Bata has been onto a great uptrend, these uptrends have now given way to more of consolidation moves. But the very fact that the stock is staging a breakout of an 8-month consolidation to all-time new highs clearly says that the bullish trend in Bata is still very much persistent. Now, in this small pullback that you saw between December 16 to about end of 2017, there you would find that Bata actually dropped down to a confluence of retracement supports based upon Fibonacci calculation. Now, that creates a durable bottom, and that is what has brought the prices up to the current levels or the former levels upwards of 800 rupees. The momentum indicators have just retreated to normal, indicating that or implying that the bullishness persists in that particular stock, and that the bulls have not really given up. And what is also interesting in this chart is that a certain indicator called the money flow indicator, I think that is now kicking back into positive, which again shows that the buyers are back in the case of Bata. So if you look at it technically, the stock checks all the boxes, and likewise it will do so similarly on the fundamental side. You have decent numbers coming up. You have a fair amount of comfort with respect to the management. And as far as the consumer space goes, the stock trades at about 45x valuation, which is not overly expensive considering that most of the space trades at about 40 to 60 or even higher valuation. So I think if you look at it from both fundamental and technical way, I would think a movement till about 1050, which implies about 20–25% upside from the current levels in a large cap stock, I think that makes for a great play across the short to medium term trend. So therefore, and the stock is also in futures, so it makes you could trade it in futures, you could invest it into the long term. So I think Bata makes a good case for technical and fundamental investing at the current price. So that's the main situation as far as Bata is concerned. The second stock that I have for you, again on confluence of both technical and fundamental aspect, is OPTO Circuits. Here in this case, we are trying to fish for the bottom. Now, OPTO Circuit is a company engaged in medical equipments, and maybe 90% of its income arises from this aspect. And the company earns its it earns its revenue from both domestic market as well as foreign markets. Now, what is interesting about OPTO Circuit chart is the long base formation that you see here. Now, you have to see that OPTO has actually been down for about 7 to 8 years, dropping from a high around 230–35 down to about 7 rupees. In the last about year or so, the stock may have doubled from 7 to 14, and that might look very big, but it's actually a base which is being created in the, let's say, 8–9 rupees on the lower side and about maybe 13–14 rupees on the higher side. Yeah. So this big breakout is happening with nice volumes. It's happening with good momentum support. And on the momentum side, you are seeing range shifts, advanced breakouts, etc. All this indicate that the stock will go up. And what is more interesting here is that if you look at the fact that 3 quarters the companies has been doing well, but if you take the last quarter's return of OPTO Circuit, it's actually minus 1.5%. So the price action is not really, kind of reflective of the change in numbers. And I think that is about to happen. Based upon the, let's say, technical setup, we have a breakout in the offing, and this breakout above 14 can actually take the stock to about 20–21, which means that there is a 50% upside possibility in OPTO Circuit. This may not be for everybody because management perception, quality and all really don't check the boxes there. But from a short-term investing for smaller investors, I think this seems to be a decent bet.
Okay, OPTO Circuits, Bata, these are the two interesting stories which are emerging on CK's trend analysis, both on a fundamental as well as technical confluence, and that seems to be favoring these two names.